Okay, it is not technically the end of Indian innings. It's 19.3 overs, 180 for the loss of 7 wickets. Oh why, Mr. Arshdeep Singh, did you have to get out? Because if you did not, there's a good chance that those 3 balls could have been done. Because of the time taken for his dismissal and him walking off and the next batter coming in, the rain kind of increased and the game had to be stopped at 19.3 overs. But here's a technicality, it's not the end of India's innings. So as and when the rain stops and the play resumes, India will start from 19.3. They will play those 3 deliveries and then there will be the innings break and then the game will carry on. Unless it's a long break, and I think they usually have, I will give you the exact details as we find out, but usually typically it's 1 hour buffer time that you have before overs start getting reduced. So since the overs were bowled in time, I'm guessing if the game cannot start by 11:10 India time or so, then overs will start getting reduced and then you could pretty much say that 19.3 would be the end. It is possible that it could be further reduced because of Duckworth-Lewis if the rain break is longer, but if it is not, and let's say at exactly 11.10, if it's the cutoff time and you are starting at 11:15, then that 3 deliveries would be done and dusted and you start from that being India's target. So India then doesn't come out to bat. But too many ifs and buts before we know. So just to put it simply, if it's a short break, rain delay isn't much, then India come out to bat with their 3 balls remaining. If it's a long delay, then India do not come out. How many overs South Africa will get will depend on as and when the game starts, right? So that's just the summation. Now, since that is out of our way, we can get back to discussing how India did in their almost innings of 19.3. But before I get into it, what do you make of the situation? Could they have played those 3 balls?
I would have gone for it. 3 balls, you're not really... I mean, India's tail-enders were batting. What big difference would it have made? I don't think it would have mattered that much.
No. Visibility, I'm sure, would have really been impacted. And we're in fact, waiting, and I think I read that in the comms over there, that probably the linesmen weren't around, the groundsmen weren't around, which is why the covers didn't come on. Because while you saw Arshdeep walk back, I think, and the celebration for courtesy, that replay showed you that yes, there was downpour enough for you to stop play right there. So maybe they really could have, and maybe the groundsmen weren't really around, which is why it didn't stop when it actually should have maybe a ball before.
No, but even if the groundsman came, the point that...
But again,
could you have had 3 balls?
No, if why not? I'm saying if I had, let's say, edged, let's say, 2 on 2 of those balls, had there been clear visibility and no rain, then whatever. See, rain, and it's just not good playing conditions. What if the bowler slipped up or whatever it is? It's just not safe enough.
Yeah, visibility thing I don't think is ever an issue. But I agree that maybe, I think there could be 2 reasons why they've decided, and I don't hold any grudge in that sense. And fine, could be one. I don't think the bowler also would have slipped immediately. I think the reason they may have decided, because if the downpour is heavy, it will make the pitch wet. And you do not want the pitch wet because you still have another innings to go. So if it's a heavy downpour, even if it takes you a couple of minutes to finish off those 3 balls, 2 minutes could be a lot and could really make the pitch wet, which you would not want. And then, different conditions for 2 different teams. So I think that playing square would have been the area of concern, that let's quickly cover that, because the rest of it is anyway not covered because PE does not have the full covers, but they'll have super stopper and so on and so forth to dry that. But the main playing area they want to cover because they don't want the pitch to be wet, and those 3 extra deliveries could have done that. So I think maybe the right decision, 3 balls. I mean, people can look at it differently. I don't think there would be an immediate danger for any kind of falling, slipping, injury, but pitch getting wet could have been the thing. But as we speak, it's pelting down, it's pouring there, which is not looking good, which kind of tells you that there's a good chance that you may have seen the last of India's innings. And then if it's a shortened game, South Africa will probably come out to bat a little later. What do you make of India's batting?
Score's good. Score's good at this stage because again your projected score was lesser, in fact, a few overs back. But I think that over from Markram, where we got targeted by Rinku, I think that really changed things around a bit. You got those runs which you were looking for, and given the surface, I think you needed at least this one, maybe actually 10-15 more, given how the conditions have been. I think this much you needed for you to take the match the full distance.
No, so what are you saying about this?
It's good. It's good. So far, so good. Yeah.
Mixed bag. Because I think, see, on one hand, he had a very good 50 from Sky. Maiden T20I 50 for Rinku, and he was phenomenal. Had that one lucky break from Aiden Markram, if I'm not mistaken.
Not lucky, he's fair and square.
Lucky. No.
Fair and square, got his glove.
Yeah, but he himself didn't know he had gloved
lucky
it.
would have been, we don't know, again we're assuming, but I'm saying lucky would have been a drop catch.
Or an umpire's call.
Or an umpire's call, or a drop catch, or, could have been easily out, but missed the
He survived that though, and since then I think he showed what he does best, which is come the death overs, he just switches gears instantly. He wasn't, if you go through his strike rate in the first 10-15, and obviously he had to do a bit of rebuilding, both openers gone for ducks, so he did well. Beyond that though, I think you needed one half decent score from one other batter. Maybe if Tilak's 29 was a 40 odd, I think India would have been happier with how things are. It is, of course, T20s is high risk, high reward. So I don't really mind the openers getting out early. It's part of the thing, right? You're going to target those power plays. If you get out doing that, no problem whatsoever. I think even Jitesh, by the way, would be kicking himself for the kind of shot he played. So you needed one good innings. Why? Because India only battled 7. And then you've really got 4 number 11s. I mean, it's pretty telling that they sent Arshdeep Singh of all people at number 8. And we're like, what just happened
That's a big surprise. They could have sent, I think Kuldeep's a much better batter. You should trust him.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes you want a player to use the long handle, that's why you said, but I still do not, both Siraj and Arshdeep, I'm not too. And I don't know how good Mukesh is, so I would have sent Kuldeep anyway.
No, I mean, Siraj, at least I've seen him hit 6s in Test cricket. I've seen him do that. With Arshdeep, he looks like he's scared of holding the bat. Never mind the ball coming. So I didn't understand that. Just didn't.
The standout feature for me in India's batting today is the fact that, excuse me, I think I need that extra jacket too.
Told you.
He was just complaining before we started the show that I forgot my jacket, and I was like, you're already wearing a sweatshirt.
A hoodie, right?
And you want a jacket, and I was just flaunting, see how I'm wearing a thin jacket. And I was like,
Even I actually forgot my jacket upstairs, rushed down. I had that sleeveless one, it was snug. And now I'm kind of regretting it because the ACs don't help matters.
Winter's slowly coming in into Delhi. Anyway, what I loved about India's batting today, and I've been going on and on about it, is this young team. See, this is the approach that I was talking about. The young fearlessness of this team. You lost both your openers for a duck 6'2" at one stage, and just look at the way Tilak was batting alongside Suryakumar Yadav. They did not hold back. Trying your reverse sweeps, paddle shots, 6 behind, fine leg, everything. Those full-blooded cover drives, everything was on. And that's what I'm talking about this young team, which is what I liked. Worst case scenario, 6'2", still going hell for leather. Then Tilak also gets out, no problem. Rinku comes in, though Rinku played smart cricket, and that's what we'll get to Rinku a little later. But overall, if I take a look at this team, this is what I like about this young team. This is how T20 cricket needs to be played, that you go all out from the word go. Doesn't matter, this is something that Rohit and all used to say earlier, 3 for 2, you are, what are you going to do? This team is showing you no fear. This team, this young team, showing you no fear. And see, you've reached, right? Despite that sort of a start, you've kind of reached a par total. That's the point here. That's my standout thing from this game. And every time I'm seeing this young team do it like this again and again, the more I'm enjoying. And if people can't see this, I feel for them.
I mean, if you look at it this way, if it had to be you're playing with your old approach, conventional cricket, you are 6'2". Then you are shutting shop, looking to consolidate, hit at the death, maybe get to about 160, 170 max. Here, by the way, you're 180 with 3 balls to go and Rinku Singh still at the crease. That 180 can be 198, it can be 194, you don't know what it could be, and you're looking at a much different game. Why? Because the approach matters, the intent matters. Tilak Verma had to take things a little patiently, but by the time he's out, strike rate at 145. Sky was also batting patiently at first, strike rate at 155.
No, so, I mean, I think with that approach, they would have got 200. I mean, first of all, just an overall look at the score, I think it's under par. Let's be honest, I think it's under par because I mentioned earlier, and I've covered games in this ground, it's a smallish ground and it's a batting paradise. Today, especially with the pitch, the ball coming on well, I think 200 is what you needed. So India clearly 20-run shot. That is not to say that I don't think India can win it. The only way I see India winning it is if the Indian spinners wreak havoc. With your regular bowling, if your most bowlers perform at the level that they are, I think South Africa win this easily, is how I see it. But if Kuldeep has an outstanding day, gets about 3-4 wickets, has the batters in 6s and 7, that's the only way I see India winning. So you are below par. But again, I go back to not contradicting what I'd said earlier. I love the approach. The only thing is that the kind of kick that you needed towards the end from a Jitesh or a Jadeja you didn't have. And the other point that you do not bat long. That's what I'm saying. Add a Hardik Pandya to this and remove a fast bowler, treat him as a out and out fast bowler. That's then when you're talking. Then it is probably a Jitesh at 7 and a Jadeja at 8. Hardik higher than that. Then you're talking with the same approach, which is why I'm saying I'm a fan of this approach. I want the team to continue with this approach. Just those minor changes of getting another fast bowling all-rounder in Hardik if you get him. Then look at this team. You're batting deep, and with this approach, then you're getting an above par total of 180. As I said, two things. Today Jitesh did not perform, but again I think that's you'll take it if that's the kind of cricket that he's going to play. Some days you'll do well, some days not. But I think the other thing that really this Indian team needs to do is Jadeja also stepping up more consistently. So one between a Jitesh or a Jadeja needs to step up. So same kind of performance. You've had a poor start, your middle order rescues you at a good strike rate. Then you need the last over burst, which you expect a Jitesh to not do it. If not Jadeja has to step up on certain occasions, which he's not been doing for some time. So I think if you tweak that, bring in a Hardik Pandya, then you're looking at a proper current style T20 team.
Exactly. I think what you do need is just bat a little deeper. One more batter, maybe. So again, that's where Hardik comes in, and you have to treat him as a bowler who can give you at least 3 overs, if not 4. You need to be treating him as that. Then you bat long enough, then this approach suddenly pays bigger dividends, because if you have potentially Jadeja stepping in at 8 rather than Arshdeep, suddenly there's a lot more confidence over there. And if you have batting till 8, maybe Rinku doesn't need to consolidate. At 5, why is it that your number 5 needed to consolidate? Because he knew if his wicket goes, then it's down to 6 and 7.
But that's why I'm saying, huge fan of Rinku Singh. Yeah, every time I see him, he is impressing us more and more and more. And today, as I said, most time he's been given the finisher's job. What I'm loving about him is today's kind of role changed, where at that time he consolidated a bit, got run a ball, and then towards the latter half accelerated. So what he's showing you is that he can play in any gear. And why I'm saying that's a good sign, because going forward, there will be a time that there will be the churn, and these guys become the senior. And Rinku, being the batter, is now showing you that he's not a one-trick pony. He's not just your dasher at the end.
Correct.
When he matures, after he's played a few more games, he could be looked at as a proper batter also, batting at number 4 and so on and so forth. He's showing you glimpses. He does that in domestic cricket, I know. But he's showing you glimpses of doing that even at the international level. So he's kind of reminding all of us that, hey, don't just look at me one way. I have the shots. I can be batting at 200 strike rate towards the end. But hey, if need be, I play that other role. I rotate strike, hit the occasional boundary, and then when the need be, that is the role that I can anyway play, be of the finisher. That's what Rinku Singh did. Some of those sixes that he hit today, that one especially, that sound of that six.
Oh, Aiden Markram, the first one.
First of the two. First of the two that he hit back to back.
That sound was just phenomenal.
Sweetest sound ever.
And the second one, straight as an arrow, down the ground,
The
flat.
speed at which it went at, I thought if that's hitting a glass and shattering it into a million pieces. It was that hard.
And we had a comment, somebody telling us that if Shane was to lose a few kilos, he looked like Rinku Singh.
How? I
don't know.
The one thing though, I feel, again, I think the way he does his moustache, rather the both of them do the moustache, I think that maybe could be one of the reasons. But the overall,
doesn't fit.
Yeah, but
No,
that's
I
the only
think- I
similarity I think between the two.
I think Arun, our colleague,
Huh.
pointed that. I think he's got a point. Did Arun point that out?
Yeah, it was Arun.
I think.
Interesting. Preetham, Tabriz Shamsi, now Rinku Singh.
The
No,
player was also. I thought you were saying.
By the way, Tabriz Shamsi bowled very well today. And I think he is one of the major reasons why when I'm saying that they have been below par. Why I think 180. What could have been 200 is now down to 180, primarily because of Tabriz Shamsi at an economy of 4.50, incredible on a pitch like this, which is why I said that the only way I see India winning from there is if Kuldeep has a great day or your spinners do. Because otherwise for fast bowlers, the kind of pitch there is, the batting lineup that South Africa has, I think they'll play them through the line and 180 is chaseable. If again we have a full game. But if Kuldeep was to have an outstanding day, what Tabriz Shamsi did, and I have not been a big fan, simply because I know that he's been a bowler who on occasion has been number one in T20 cricket. But I've never been a big fan because against India has always fallen short. Indian batters have always taken him to task and he struggled. But what I saw him do differently today, and they was pointing out earlier also, bowling a bit slower through the air instead of that, used to have that quick medium pacer kind of run up and a quick arm action and would bowl like that and pretty much would get hammered. Today, really mixing it up, bowling that touch slower, flighting it on certain occasions, not always those flat deliveries. Some he got to turn as well. I think all of that, there was an occasion like, it's seldom does someone like a Surya Kumar Yadav not being able to time, but there was a situation where he was bowling, where he was bowling slower, but he's not being able to time. I think there is a lesson in there for the Indian bowlers to pick up, especially as I said, Kuldeep. But Kuldeep anyway kind of bowls slow.
Yeah, Kuldeep again. The revival of Kuldeep, the bowler, has been to the fact that he's added those extra clicks. Earlier, Kuldeep, much like Shamsi, would just be unidimensional in terms of speed.
Yeah.
Kuldeep right now, because of the fact that he comes much closer to the crease now, to the umpire, straightest run up, he's added a little more speed over there. Again, as a bowler, added variety. That's something that got him all the laurels in Asia Cup, even the World Cup. He was good with that. Shamsi, good thing about him today was mixing it up, like you said, which is what made things difficult for Surya in particular. When those couple of occasions he was trying to see, even Rinku, I remember, wasn't quite able to read him a couple of times. So good application over there from Shamsi today.
Yeah, I think the only I remember you're talking about Rinku. Rinku was trying to reverse sweep him for whatever reason. Couple of occasions, missed it entirely, was given LB also to Markram whilst trying to play that reverse.
And that tells you the fact, when does a batter tend to get overly innovative? When you're not able to read. Simple as that. That's what he was trying to do. Just play a shot which again the field's not set for and get runs, get out of the jail. So good there from him. Obviously the figures sort of show he's been the most economical on the day.
By a country mile.
Others almost double, rather definitely more than double of what he gave away today.
Yep. You have Sawal?
And what is the rain situation? Doesn't look like.
As being pointed out, rain could make bowling much difficult in the second half. It is going to be wet, though they have a super stopper, but I'm just checking the rain situation there. Weatherman is not there now with us today.
Yeah, it's still raining as I see. Still raining, yeah.
It is. Not a good.
How many minimum overs do you need in the second innings for it to
5.
constitute a match? 5. Okay.
Yeah. Much shortened target. But then that becomes a lottery.
Yeah.
But if I'm the chasing team, I'd be happy with that.
No, then you can calculate, right?
Of course.
So speaking of our Sawal, Vishal Panchal with a super chat saying Rinku is simply awesome. Although it's sad to not see an Ishan, being left out, not getting his chances. I think he needs to visit a temple and pray for a miracle or divine intervention. I mean, it worked for KL Rahul.
It worked for Bishnoi as well.
No, but Ishan keeps visiting temples. I've seen sometimes. No, hasn't helped. Hasn't helped. Poor guy has to sit on the bench. By the way, interestingly, it's not just like in international cricket, as I mentioned. When seniors are there, then he has to wait for his turn. When juniors are there, they need to be given a chance, so he has to wait. It happens to him in franchise cricket also. Remember, initially also Mumbai Indians used to be dropped all the time.
Yeah, he wasn't a regular. In fact, at times they used to sometimes play him just as a batter. They had Quinton de Kock at that point in time, so de Kock would keep the wickets.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate on his behalf.
Guys performed, yaar. You made him open, gave you runs. Made him
Number
bat
4.
at 5 against all odds. By the way, we didn't give him a chance. I remember in the middle order, given his deficiencies at times, which I hope don't exist now. But he got you runs batting at number 5 also.
I told you, my whole understanding of this is that he's too much of a nice guy. He needs to have a mean streak. Well, because see what, as they say, nice guys finish last sometimes. And it's not, again, nothing wrong to be a nice guy, but you need to know where to draw the line. If it's happening to you again, see, initially if it's happening, you can understand, you can make yourself believe that why it's happening. They're trying to give chances to somebody else, so on and so forth. You know all of that. But when it's happening
again and again.
And you know, this way also you're not playing, that way also you're not playing, this some other yardsticks for somebody else, some other yardsticks for you. It's happening that often. Then I'm like, there's an issue. He needs to confront people if he has to. It's his career on line, and a sportsman's career isn't that long.
And say maybe, boss, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा.
नहीं चलेगा यार. और नहीं चलेगा, at least ask ना.
So what more do I have to do?
No, yeah, as in like, so please explain to me that what happens is, like, you know, I get runs, but I don't play in that format because you say that, okay, I'm next in line. There are other players who have established themselves. I'm next in line. Then when my chance is to be next in line, then you say, no, we want to see some youngsters, this and that. What do I do?
Exactly.
See, again, there could be people who argue, and I'm happy to look at both sides. There will be people who argue that, you know, because it's the discussion we were having on top, and there were some people who were the opinion that he doesn't have it in him. And they don't rate him very highly. Fine. See, everyone assesses each player differently. I'm not that person, but let's say if you were to, let's say hypothetically you thought that he has problems rotating strike because there's certain criticism that comes his way, or he's, you know, sometimes gets caught against spinners, you know, whatever, you could come up with whatever assessment or analysis you may have. I'll buy all that, but I'm saying for you to, those are all hypotheses, right, based on what you've seen him do, but that's not the final result. So you need to go through the process of giving him whatever you do, what would be a 3 series, 4, something like that, where he plays regularly, and at the end of it you say, no boss,
give him a run of maybe 7-8 games, consistent run, not 7-8 games passed in between rest rotation.
Yeah.
I think the only time he got a consistent run was, I think, on that West Indies tour, maybe. That's it.
He did well. I think he was your highest run getter or something.
Which he was. Yes, in the T20 especially, I think.
Where own opener.
You were setting eyes on a Gill and Samson, who also played. It was Ishan actually who got you the most runs.
2 or 3 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. As against one each that Gill and Sanju got, but that too on that flat third T20I.
Correct.
Yeah. Again, you know, because people will say, okay, there could be analysis, he's weak here, he's weak there, he's weak there. Sure. But does that reflect in the number of runs that he's got? Or, for example, I'll give you an example. Like Saurav Ganguly, people will say, oh, weak against short pitch bowling, quick bowling, whatever. But the point is, at the end of the day, he's getting you runs, right? He at one point would outscore Sachin Tendulkar in ODI cricket as an opener.
Correct.
So, if there is a weakness or not a weakness doesn't matter. If a player can find a way to be getting runs, then so be it.
I mean, Travis Head has a problem against short ball bowling. Hasn't stopped him from putting in 2 player of the match performances in 2 ICC finals.
Don't remind us.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I want to take Piyush Nandra's one because there are 2 of them really and both are interesting. First, he's saying that Rinku's currently paid 55 lakhs by KKR. That's his contract amount, by the way. They have a player who's potentially worth 10 crores for 55 lakhs, which is saving a lot of their purse. If he is opting to leave and enters the auction, he actually might get that. I don't disagree.
Yeah, but see again, this is the last year on the 3rd year contract.
Exactly.
Right? So if if the franchise being nice to them, it's also you look at it. You play another season for them, and then you have your price.
I think he's being hypothetical, and I am 110% sure come the next mega auction, KKR are retaining this boy. Hands down.
But can I tell you one thing, just to correct him also on that front? If a player wants to leave, the franchise has to let him go. So, if I'm giving you the Hardik Pandya case, where Hardik wanted to leave, he let his franchise know, but the franchise also then took a call, it's better to let him go if his mind is not set in. But if Gujarat really tucked their heels in and said, no way, we're not letting you go.
He'd have no
you
choice.
can sulk, do whatever. You know. He would have no option but to play out this year and then next year choose not to renew. So would Rinku do that? I'm not sure he'd want to do that. He plays another year at whatever price that is contracted. After that, two options. One, they'll retain him for a crazy amount, which they can and they should. If they don't, then he goes to the auction and gets more.
No way you're putting him in the auction pool this time around.
That's what I'm saying.
110%.
You rather convince him, or if not, let's say from the maximum price tag, which I think is 15 CR right now, give him, let's say, the third, like Dhoni didn't take.
Yeah, he didn't take 15 CR.
He let Chandu take it.
So he'll not take the 15 CR.
Exactly.
But you have to
but
retain
the second
him.
or the third highest, or forget the second, maybe the third, because he's not that high profile player, let's say. But even then, he's doing everything to be that high profile player.
Exactly that.
And because of the association that he has with the franchise for donkey's years now, that's where I think the connection and the bargain sort of comes in.
Exactly. No one knew of a Rinku Singh before KKR scouted him. 2018, when they gave him that chance, he is one of those players who has a big loyalty to KKR.
Yeah.
He does believe.
Which is why KKR also owes something to him, right? Which is fair compensation.
Remember,
he's got every right to ask for fair compensation.
2022, when the mega auction took place, KKR sent him back to the auction pool, but they were the first ones to bid for him, so they knew instantly by going back. By the way, the only reason he has 55 lakhs is because for some reason LSG, being the UP team, said no, we maybe want to get some UP talent in, and they tried bidding for him on a couple of occasions. They realized KKR were bidding aggressively, so they said no, there's no point going there, and Rinku came back.
And there is another thing that people might say that, okay, how about the franchise decides to change the contract, speaking to him midway and change it. I'm sure there is a provision for you to do that, but the point is then that gets deducted from their purse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would you do it?
So unless, I mean, a franchise could still do it. Like they're not obliged to. The player can't go if they're not ready to leave it. But I guess a franchise will say, okay, fine, he's just too good. I think it's only fair we do it. I mean, nothing stops them, but then there is a downside to it. As I'm just putting it out, that there will be a downside to it, that you lose it from your purse. But as I said, if I was Rinku, be loyal to your franchise who got you, play another season, you'll get your right price anyway next season, the auction. And I agree, most likely KKR are going to retain him and pay him the big bucks, which he so deserves. So,
I mean, after last year, he won you 2 or 3 games single-handedly from positions you had no right winning them. People keep talking about GT this, GT that. You needed 35 of that over. 31. You had no right winning that game. And he very nearly took you to another win against LSG, which would have actually kept you in the hunt for a playoff place the last game. So he has that ability, and again, temperament. I don't think they're letting him go to the auction this time, even if it means letting go of someone like a Sunil Narayan.
yeah, agreed. Vishal, what's he saying?
Youngsters getting a chance is okay, but Jitesh is 30.
I know. We've spoken about it, but I think more so because they're looking at Jitesh at 6, so he can do that role, and you're trying to audition him for that. And so, but I agree with you that it's unfair still for an Ishan Kishan. So that's why I'm saying youngster also gets precedent over him. Older
Jitesh is
player,
not a youngster.
younger, anyone new, old, experienced, anyone will play ahead of him.
Just to make a case for Jitesh, maybe they're trying to find another Surya in Jitesh. Like Surya was a late bloomer too.
Sure, I'm just saying, just
yeah, for Ishan, everything's just going downstream.
For everything, you have a reason.
Reason.
For him, there is a reason to sit out.
For him, there's often no reason also, because the one reason that should be there, his number is actually quite good.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
His whole situation right now reminds me of a meme which I can't really put out, but it involves Vicky Kaushal and it goes viral all the time. Ye beep dukh khatam kyun nahi hota. So it's like that for Ishan.
That's
right
from
now.
Masan.
That's from Masan.
Masan.
Yes, that's from Masan.
I know. Good film.
Good film.
Sharan Minakota.
Says, don't you think Jadeja's innings was a tad bit slow considering his batting position? Going forward, needs to have a higher strike rate.
Sharan, we pointed that out, by the way. Interesting. But now when you look at that Indian tail, and we discussed that, I wouldn't even blame a Jadeja, right? Arshdeep, Mukesh, Siraj, Kuldeep, I mean...
That's 4 number 11s.
And he came out when there were good 40-50 balls. So how many balls? He himself has played...
What, 14 balls he played?
14. So it must have been around 30 balls remaining at that
Around
time, I'm
that
guessing. Whoa. I'm not trusting anyone. If I'm out,
But go down,
I'm not trusting any one of them to back 30 balls.
So, Jitesh was out in the 16th over. So 20, actually exactly 28 balls. So yeah, no
Am
way.
I trusting any one of them? No more than 5 balls. So yeah, you can understand. Okay, let's take 1 or 2 questions.
Aditya says, do you think that Hardik's current game is fit for T20?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem there.
No, because he can change gears.
Yeah.
Truth be told, Hardik can change gears. It's just that in GT he got a role, and that particular role he needed to play. And sometimes you push him higher up, he's batting at number 4, bats like that. But that's not to say that he doesn't have the big shots. He can come down. I remember that semi-final where you lost. He's the one who had to come and do the dirty work.
Provoked a bit of a rant from him later on.
Yeah. No, I think that rant happened before that only.
Vindication then.
Yeah, that was vindication. That was vindication. So, but as I said, Aditya, if Hardik comes back into this team, just look at this team. If you remove a fast bowler, bring him and get Hardik to bowl those 4, which he definitely can, then look at your batting.
Then you're batting late.
Then you're getting 200 on this pitch.
Exactly.
In this situation where you've lost 2 wickets for just 6 runs.
Oh dear God.
Latest update, still raining there, my friends. So that's not looking good, which would mean that most likely, because it's still raining, so it can't start in another 20 minutes, which means that India will not come out to bat. I think we can safely say that's going to happen. 19.3 will be the cutoff because overs will start reducing from here on. But how many does South Africa get will depend on when it stops, when you stop.
When it stops, because again, even if hypothetically, if it were to stop raining, let's say this very moment, you need about 20 or 25 minutes to take the covers off, deploy those super stoppers, ensure that the field's ready. Then of course, hope that there is enough light also for play to resume. All of those things put together. You're not having India back, and that you've got only 20 minutes for India to step back before you start to lose overs.
No doubt that's
No, light won't be an issue because they'll have floodlights on. So
it's not red ball cricket.
They were checking one. I think there was a delay. I remember seeing the devices out.
Yeah, maybe, but they can always turn
Turn up the heat.
Turn up
the floodlights.
Floodlights. It's white ball. If it's red ball, then it'd be an issue. It's anyway a day and nighter.
Let's see.
Yeah. Okay, final question from Akash Bhardwaj. Guys, currently who is the top 2 batsmen in T20 as for you? His is Puran, Sky, Rinku.
And he said top 2 Indian 3 batters.
Yeah.
That's cheating, Akash.
I'm picking Sky and Rinku.
We're being biased here, but yeah. I mean, Rinku, as I keep saying it to the boys upstairs, I'll say it to you guys now. The president of the Rinku Singh fan club, memberships are now being accepted. Please, go right ahead.
Send in your messages. So you picked Rinku and?
Rinku
and Puran?
Yeah, Puran is a good shout. I would actually go for a little hipster choice and maybe say someone like a Mitch Marsh also. Doesn't get the kind of credit he deserves. In T20 eyes, that guy is destructive.
Oh, maybe Sky and Miller,
another good shout. Maxwell's another good shout.
Maxwell also is there.
I'm going Indian. Okay, guys, no updates for now. We'll be back as soon as we get to know when the game is starting. But the summation towards the end is Harshit thinks it's a par total. I think it's below par.
That's slightly below par.
Yeah, but again, there's news. Covers are coming off. Just as we were going to wrap up. Just as we were.
But just to add, the reason that I feel that India are still good and they have a par total because again lost the 2 openers for nothing.
Yeah.
So from that point,
but I'm just looking at now.
Because I wasn't expecting then after that start you were hoping okay some decent amount of 160 or 70 after you lose two quick wickets right at the top, that just erodes a certain amount of runs. So from that point, I feel India in a good position, because I wasn't looking at India getting here after those first couple of overs.
Okay, so that's great news. Covers coming off. Then you may have India come back and play those.
Ooh, very interesting.
Couple of
Deliveries.
those 3 deliveries at least. But I'm just still checking. Maybe we'll get to know. But that's great news, guys. That the covers are off. We'll be live as soon as we get to know, the target, what is up next. And of course, post-match, so we'll definitely be here. For the moment, from the 3 of us, bye-bye, see you.